Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. We recently just got new info on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet from the Pokemon Presents, which as a whole, the Presents was okay. I mean, the most noteworthy thing was the stuff with Scarlet and Violet. Everything else was kind of just updates on mobile games, which is fine. I mean, it's nice to cater to those fans, you know, Pokemon Go and Pokemon Cafe and Pokemon Unite. I get that, but we're not here to talk about that. Before we get into the video, if you're passing by, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I do a lot of Nintendo videos. I do some reviews every now and then. I try to do reviews. Reviews are pretty hard when you're trying to churn them out. But I also try to go into other platforms like PlayStation, Xbox, you name it. This channel is for video game geeks like me, so please check it out. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a like if you wouldn't mind. And with that said, let's go ahead and get into the news. Let's go ahead and see what's going on in this trailer because they showed quite a bit more than what you would initially expect. Because at first, when I first looked at the trailer and stuff, I mean, yeah, it was really cool and, you know, I'm super excited for the game as a whole, but it didn't really show anything too exciting in my opinion. Like nothing that completely blew me away. It was more just like, oh, that's pretty cool, I guess. But the more you look into the trailer, and the Pokemon website for that matter, there's a lot you can get out of this. Starting off with the trailer though, the lighting and textures still don't look great. I think the lighting can look good in some spots, but those textures as a whole look rough, man. However, I will say that the game looks better than what we saw earlier this year. I mean, obviously that was an earlier build of the game, so of course I expected it to be better here, and it is. It looks pretty good. I mean, of course there's some caveats there, like, again, the textures and some of the lighting. I think the towns especially, so disappointing because I think the layout of the towns look pretty interesting, and it's, you know, huge cities. But man, visually, it just does not look great. There's not a ton of shadows going on here, that it just lacks depth, which is weird because the design of the cities feel like huge sprawling places, whereas when you look at it visually, it looks flat as ever. The art style as a whole I think is really good though. It really works for Pokemon. It's a little different from your traditional Pokemon style. They really altered it here, and I think it looks pretty good. It's a little bit more grounded, quote unquote, but at the same time, it's still got that cartoon look to it. The art style, in my opinion, looks great. It's just the graphics themselves, the textures, the lighting. I mean, the colors pop, don't get me wrong. I really enjoy the colors here. I think Arceus lacked a lot in terms of color. I mean, it still had colors and stuff, but a lot of it was muted as well. And speaking of Arceus, the graphics didn't put me off too much when I played the game back when it released, and I think that will be the case here. But I can't say I'm thrilled to have this game looking the way that it does. Oh, I do want to mention that this throw animation is sick. Are you kidding me? He goes full on anime. This looks fantastic. We can't talk about Pokemon news without talking about Pokemon. We got several Pokemon this time around to show off, and honestly, I'm really liking these designs. For the most part. First up, we have Wooper, a regional form, but Wooper nonetheless. Wooper is pretty cute, what can I say? I actually kind of like the color scheme here more so than the original, don't be mad at me. I don't know why, and normally I wouldn't be into this color scheme, but here, I think it works. I think it works really well, actually. I don't know why, I just really dig these colors on him. Up next, we have Fido, which seems to be a fan favorite already. If you check Twitter recently, you've seen this guy everywhere. And I can't say I blame people for that. This is a really good design, a fairy type food dog. It's very interesting, very charming. Yeah, this is a great design for a great Pokemon. I'm really curious as to what the evolution for this one's going to be, because as it stands now, it's a cute design. It's not Lechonk good, but it's really good. Up next, we have Sea Titan, which I'm gonna be honest, this is not my favorite design. I think there's a lot going on here. There is such a thing as over-design, and that's what this Pokemon represents. There's just so much going on here. I kind of get what they're going for. It's like a land whale, in a sense, which I'm curious to see the evolution, if there is an evolution of this. But as it stands, I don't know, there's just too much horns going on here. Why is this guy covered in horns? I don't know, he's just not my favorite. But yeah, overall, these new Pokemon look really good. Let's go ahead and get into the new gimmick for this Pokemon game, which is of course the Terastall mechanic. Did I say that right? I don't even know how to say this, man. The new gimmick for this Pokemon game is the Terastall transformation. Basically, each Pokemon has the ability to Terastallize, which when activated transforms the Pokemon into this crystallized monstrosity. Pokemon can come in all kinds of Tera types, which means there's a ton of combinations. On one hand, I really dig the mechanic itself. The ability to change the type of your Pokemon for a time is really interesting. It brings a whole new strategic element into the game. Only time will tell how this gimmick will go on in the game's meta. Now, on the other side of this gimmick, the Terastallized Pokemon look kind of weird. It's not the worst change to a Pokemon's design, but it's just strange. I don't really like it too much. I kind of like the crystallization of the Pokemon itself, but the big old crown on their heads is just too much, man. Why does it have to be so big? You have this little tiny Pokemon, yet you have this freaking fountain coming out of its head. Like, really? Am I overreacting on this? Probably, but I don't know, man. It's just weird. But I'll probably get used to it. Who knows? Maybe I'll like it in the future, but as of now, I'm not really into the look of this transformation. One of the biggest additions to the Pokemon series as a whole is the ability to drop into each other's realm. Having a squad of your friends exploring the Paldea region is honestly one of the most exciting aspects of the game. It's weird that it took this long for the feature to be implemented, but it seems like it's worth the wait. One of the pillars of the game seems to revolve around the school in one way or another. Honestly, I kinda hope that's the case. Normally schools in Pokemon games are literally one-room buildings that teach you the bare minimum of the mechanics in Pokemon. They're usually there as a side activity. It's normally not a focus in any way, shape, or form, but it seems like it's one of the main focuses here, which is a nice change of pace. There's even an independent study project that you can take part in called the Treasure Hunt. I, for one, have no idea what that means. They didn't really explain it in the trailer or the website for what I can tell. But whatever the case may be, it's nice to have this hunt in the game. Not sure if it's the main quest or anything, but it seems intriguing enough. Speaking of the school, the teachers each have cool, unique designs. I really like this guy with the mustache for some reason. I don't know why. He's just funny looking. Also, I want to touch on the towns again and how interesting they look in design. Huge cities scattered throughout the land. Oh man, if there is any way of getting me hyped for an open world game, showing me towns and cities is one of the best ways to do it. Unfortunately, the textures for the towns, like I've said before, are still very poor. But like I said, the design of the towns look great. Hopefully the graphics don't stand out in a bad way too much here. For those of you that are a fan of raid battles, well, you're in luck because they make their return here in the form of Terra raid battles, which sounds a bit weird when you say it like that. These act as raid battles like in Sword and Shield, but they have some additions and changes that make it a bit different. First of all, instead of Dynamax Pokemon, it's the new Terra Pokemon, which, let's get this down. I like these Terra Pokemon way more than Dynamaxing. I don't like the whole mechanic of, ooh, I'm big now. Like, get out of here, man. At least they do something a little bit more interesting here with the Terra forms. But I digress. In these battles, you have a time limit, and you can attack seamlessly without having to wait for other players' turns. Which, I'm gonna be real with y'all, I don't really know how that's gonna play out. It seems like it might get a little chaotic. I don't know if this is the case for the Pokemon that you're fighting. Do they have to wait on turns? I don't know what's going on. I don't really know how that's going to work, in the context of the game. It sounds really cool because you don't have to wait on people, which is really nice, but I don't know how that's going to fit here. In the trailer, they said that there will be 3 main stories, 2 of which we have no idea. One of them is completing the gems in any order, which sounds really cool. However, I am very concerned that there won't be any level scaling in the game, which would really suck. It would make some gym battles, like if you skip the first 2 gym battles and go to the, a little harder but not expert level gyms, and then you come back to those first ones, like those are going to be easy. I don't know how I feel about this. I really hope that there's some kind of leveling scale, just to make things a little interesting. I hope it's there, but I'm going to expect it not to be there so I don't get disappointed. In the Pokemon website, they actually mentioned that you get a phone like in previous titles. The map on the phone seems to be really fast and intuitive, at least from the screenshot. You can find Pokemon, towns, and Pokemon centers. Speaking of, Pokemon centers seem to be scattered throughout the world in these like gas station looking things. When it gets dark, the Pokemon centers light up, which is really cool, so you can actually see them. They also have a huge Pokeball on top of the building, so you can see from far away, which is really nice. It's kind of like the Golden Arches, but for Pokemon. Also, according to the website, Korodon doesn't necessarily turn to a motorcycle when you ride him. He just runs around on foot, which, I'm gonna be honest with you, the whole sprinting mode that Korodon has is way less cooler compared to Miraidon's drive mode. Miraidon looks way better as a motorcycle. It's a shame too, because I was actually leaning more towards getting Scarlet because I kind of liked the design at first overall. But looking at Miraidon's drive mode, yeah, I would rather traverse in a motorcycle as cool as this rather than running around on this guy. I don't know, I'm still on the fence, but I'm actually leaning more towards Violet on this premise alone. When you're traversing the world, it seems like that there will be 3 modes that you can pull off when you're with your legendary companion, which actually seems like you'll be getting the legendary at the start of the game, or at least near the beginning of the game. Because how else would you be traversing some of this terrain? The 3 modes are gliding, running, and swimming, which aren't actually named that. I think they have, actual mode names, like drive mode and sprinting mode, but yeah, that's essentially what it is. Glide, run, and swim, which was kind of expected, but regardless, it's great to see. Honestly, I really like the fact that it's just one Pokemon doing all these things. It was so annoying changing Pokemon in Arceus. You had like 6 Pokemon for traversal. Now you just have 1, which makes things so much easier. That and the possibility of getting them in the early stages of the game is really something that we've never seen before. Getting legendaries like this? Now granted, I don't think that the Pokemon will be in your party at the start of the game. I think it's safe to assume that you'll get the ability to catch this Pokemon or build a good enough bond with this Pokemon when you progress through the game, and then eventually you'll be able to use this Pokemon in battle. Because having a Pokemon like this at the beginning of the game will definitely make the experience way too easy. So they have to balance it out, right? They could either make the Pokemon catchable in the later game, or have the player build its bond with the Pokemon, and then the Pokemon just like crawls into the ball or something. I don't know. Either way, I don't see this Pokemon actually being in your party until way later in the game. But yeah, that's basically the rundown of the trailer. I mean, there's more with the website and stuff. I didn't get everything off the website because there's quite a bit of information, and I'm gonna be real with y'all. It's pretty late and I kind of want to go to sleep. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know down in the comments below what you guys thought of the Pokemon Presents. Specifically, what you thought about Scarlet and Violet. Are you more excited, or are you like me and still excited, but this trailer didn't do too much to get you super hyped? Like, it was a good trailer, had good information in there, albeit they could have showed off a little bit more, especially if you've seen some of the leaks. Yeah, so there's more that they probably could have shown off, but at the same time, it's fun just learning about this stuff as you play the game. So let me know down below what you think. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're just coming by, checking out the video, check out the rest of my channel. I do a lot of Nintendo stuff, but I try to branch off and do other platforms like PlayStation. Not so much Xbox, but I do occasionally play Xbox. Specifically on the PC, because that's the best place to play Xbox, oddly enough. And thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. God bless.